Oh, okay, everybody. So I just finished at the courthouse. It's now April 25th, 2023. What a long day. This morning I was at the RCMP meeting with Corporal Failure. City of Kelowna RCMP, guys. It's April 25th, 2023. I am meeting up with Corporal Ryan Failure, who is in the Police Accountability and Professional Unit for their Code of Conduct. He was assigned by the CRCC to investigate my RCMP member complaint against Constable Conrad Erbes. And so yeah, I've given him all the documents. I've given him a 9-page report about what happened and my full disclosure request, copies of the tickets, copies of the small claim lawsuit, and I'm just waiting for my dad. He's going to join me for this meeting, and there he is. Okay, I'll see you guys later. And going over my CRCC complaint for misconduct, police misconduct. And so what I did today is a couple things. I filed my notice of application under Section 2B, 2C, 2D, and Section 7 and Section 24(1) of the Constitution Act of 1982, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And I just served a copy to the Attorney General of British Columbia, attention Crown Counsel. So I just submitted a copy of to Crown.
Okay, I can take it.
Okay.
We're very particular about what we take.
Yeah, do you want to put it in an envelope so they stay together? Or
Sure.
I don't know what you do. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put them together and give them to the assistant.
Perfect. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Cheers. Ooh, okay, so I just submitted my application to go to provincial court under my charter violations, and I submitted an affidavit with my application to the Crown and to the registry at the courthouse. And now I'm going to send another copy to the feds. The Attorney General of Canada. So I'm at Canada Post, and I have my affidavit in relation to my notice of application, and now I'm mailing it to the Attorney General of Canada, Constitutional Questions Act Notice Coordinator. So yeah. And we'll go over this more in detail, but take notice of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and my application is being made on these 2 traffic court tickets, and going over the details. And then I have the material facts, which I've sworn an affidavit to. And so I got copies of the affidavit, and I, Marcel, independent journalist, pro superbike racer, swear and affirm that I believe the facts are true, etc. I state the material facts of the application are true and correct, and I adopt these statements as evidence in my support of application. Exhibit A, which has been sworn in affidavit, you know, where he crossed out the top ticket line. And then Exhibit B is his copy, where he doesn't have it crossed out. I've interfered in my process of appeal. Then Exhibit C is the new ticket he gave me at court when he asked me how I was going to plea. And then the final exhibit is his small claims lawsuit in provincial court. And so all affidavits with that. And so the affidavit, I am making this affidavit in support of an application filed concurrently with this affidavit. So there you have it, guys. That's how and I got a couple more copies. I got to serve the Attorney General in Vancouver, Attorney General of Canada next. And yeah, what a day. Learned a lot. It's like going to university. And yeah, get back on the one wheel and go for a little ride. So yeah, like this, guys. Woo. Irnieracing News at the courthouse. Okay, so now I want to read you my affidavit and my application to move to provincial court under a charter violations in terms of my traffic court tickets with Constable Conrad Erbes. Now I'm going to state in the beginning, I have had help with this. I had a lawyer out of Alberta reach out because of these videos and how disgusted he is with the situation with Erbes, and helped me write the charter application. I've also had a sergeant out of Alberta reach out, a retired sergeant of 35 years who's been helping me as well with the CRCC complaint because he is disgusted at the conduct of IrBES and how this image is just tarnishing the RCMP. You know, there's good people and there's bad people, and those good and bad people are in the RCMP and they need to be held accountable. And so he's one of the reasons why I moved forward with the CRCC complaint. So I have had help. Unfortunately, the lawyer who's helping me, who does criminal out of Alberta, you know, he doesn't specialize in civil or in British Columbia, and there's so many differences between each province. So this leads me to ask you guys, the public, if you're a civil lawyer in British Columbia, please reach out. My name, my phone number, and my email will be in the photos I'm showing you right here on the right. So you're welcome to give me a call or email. If this for some reason ever did get to Supreme Court, you know, essentially IrBES sued me in small claims court and they don't deal with libel and slander. And so that's going to be essentially thrown out. I have a hearing on September 30th for that, before a settlement conference, and that's where a judge is finally going to read it and see, like, oh yeah, this, we don't deal with this, this is done. But if anyone is interested in moving forward in Supreme Court with me in terms of the harassment of Conrad IrBES, the continued harassment, you know, such and such, as I'll read in my material facts, please reach out. Or if for some reason he wants to take it to Supreme Court, then I could use your help as well. So anyways, let's get forward. I'll start with the affidavit because it's in relation to the application. Affidavit of Marcel Irnie. I, Marcel Irnie, independent journalist and pro superbike racer of my address, swear or affirm that I know or believe the following facts to be true. If these facts are based on information from others, I believe that information to be true. I am making this affidavit in support of an application filed concurrently with this affidavit. I state that the material facts alleged in paragraph 1 to 27 of the application are true and correct, and I adopt those statements of fact as my evidence in support of my application. Attached as Exhibit A is a copy of the violation ticket AJ24625678, and here it is on the screen, provided to me with count 1 crossed out by Constable IrBES. Attached as Exhibit B is a copy of violation ticket AJ24625678, so the same one, provided to which Constable IrBES submitted to the violation ticket center with count 1 legible and not crossed out. Attached as Exhibit C is a copy of the further ticket AJ24629795 that Constable IrBES served on me when I attended the court date December 14th, 2022 for the first scheduled traffic date in relation to traffic ticket AJ24625678. Attached as Exhibit D is a copy of the civil claim that Constable IrBES filed and served on me immediately prior to the commencement of the trial on March 29th, 2023 for ticket number AJ24625678. Okay, and so anyways, that is sworn and affirmed before me at the British Columbia, April 25th, 2023. So that's the affidavit, and then the exhibits that are on the screen. Now let's move on to the notice of application. So again, it's I had to do a violation ticket because the second ticket is not in the system, so the court registry did not want that on the heading. The second ticket I had to cross out an initial. The new ticket, Constable IrBES has not submitted the ticket that he gave to me on December 14th, 2022 to the violation ticket center. He hasn't submitted it to ICBC, so then it doesn't exist in the system. And I'll get to why I believe he's done that in here as well. So in the Provincial Court Traffic of British Columbia, Rex versus Marcel Irnie. And so REX is essentially, now that the Queen has died and now that the King has taken over, Rex is the Latin term for King of us in Canada. King of Canada, yeah. So notice of application under Section 2B, 2C, 2D, Section 7, and Section 24(1) of the Constitution Act 1982, Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And so I'm going to just quickly explain to people that don't know. So everyone has the following fundamental freedoms, and this applies to each section. This is 2B is
freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication. The next one is Section 2C, freedom of peaceful assembly, which was on January 29th. I have the right to peaceful assembly. And the next one is Section 2D. And 2D is freedom of association. Everyone has the following fundamental freedoms for freedom of association. So I was exercising my right to peaceful assembly, to my freedom of association, and my freedom for media of communication, freedom of the press. And then next is Section 7, which is life, liberty, and security of the person. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived, therefore, except in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. And then the final one is Section 24(1), which is remedies. Anyone whose rights or freedoms as guaranteed by this charter have been infringed or denied may apply to a court of competent jurisdiction to obtain such remedies as the court considers appropriate and just in the circumstances. So when I went to the trial on March 29th in front of a judicial justice, which is your traffic court, it's not a typical judge. It's not your honor. They're actually called your worships for some reason. And so it's essentially a person who has a lawyer background who can apply to be hired for judicial justice. But they cannot make any decisions that are in regards to your charter rights being violated. It even appears that they can't make decisions based on my request for full disclosure not being fulfilled by the Crown or by the constable. And so this is the application, have this all moved to a provincial court judge or justice who can rule on these charter applications. And the Crown actually brought up and led the witness Conrad Erbes to talking about the Freedom Convoy, or they called it the so-called Freedom Convoy, on January 29th, which I was a part of doing peaceful protesting, association, and doing my media coverage of. So anyways, so now you guys understand the charter application a little bit. So again, this is to the Attorney General of British Columbia, so attention Crown Counsel, and I served them, as you've seen. And also the Attorney General of Canada in Vancouver, the Constitutional Questions Act Notice Coordinator, which you saw I mailed at the Canada Post a couple days ago. So let's begin. Take notice that pursuant to Section 2B, Section 2C, Section 2D, Section 7, and Section 24 of the Constitution Act 1982, Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, an application will be made to transfer the court proceedings in ticket number 5678 to be heard before a provincial court judge. And further take notice that an application is being made to have the allegations contained in ticket number 5678 and the new one 9795 tried together and heard before a provincial court judge together with the charter applications set out below. And further take notice, I am currently waiting for your office to send me a date for the continuance trial of the ticket 5678 and a trial date for the 9795. And further take notice that Constable Conrad Erbes, number 278150, has not handed in violation ticket 9795 to the Violation Ticket Center as of writing this now 131 days after serving the ticket to accused on December 14th, 2022 regarding offense date January 29th, 2022. All right, on to the next page. Material facts. And so this is what I swore my affidavit to, that these are correct and true. Number one, on January 29th, 2022, the accused was a resident of Kelowna, British Columbia, and a citizen of Canada, and was a member of the press independently reporting under the banner of IrnieracingNews. Number two, on January 29th, 2022, thousands of people, men, women, and children attended the downtown area of Kelowna for the Freedom Rally to peacefully protest against vaccine mandates and other restrictions imposed by the Government of Canada and the Government of British Columbia. 3. On January 29, 2022, the accused attended downtown Kelowna to both peacefully participate in and report upon the Freedom Rally. Throughout the day, while engaged in this lawful activity, the accused parked his lawfully registered and insured pickup truck with a camper unit mounted on it in a designated parking area on the east side of Water Street between Queensway and Doyle Avenue. 4. At approximately 8:06 p.m., the accused was in the camper unit mounted on the truck when a person dressed in an RCMP uniform, now known as Constable Conrad Erbes, knocked on the door of the camper. Upon the accused answering the door, Constable Erbes demanded that the accused show him identification. The accused refused, advising Constable Erbes that he had no lawful authority to demand that the accused show him his identification. Constable Erbes' response was, "Okay, then I'll be towing your car." 5. The accused closed the camper door and spoke with Constable Erbes through the side window of the camper unit. 6. Constable Erbes, while wearing what appeared to be an RCMP uniform, was not displaying any name tag or a police badge, evidencing that he was in fact a member of the RCMP. The accused asked Constable Erbes for his name and badge number, and Constable Erbes refused. 7. The accused contacted the RCMP by phone at 8:38 p.m. to find out what was going on and to seek confirmation of the identity of the person who knocked on the camper door, and was informed that the person he had been interacting with was Constable Conrad Erbes, registration number 278150. The accused asked the RCMP to send the watch commander and other supervisor down to the scene to mediate the situation, as Constable Erbes was acting in a manner which caused the accused to fear he would be subject to unlawful action by Constable Erbes, including the unlawful use of physical force. 8. Pending the arrival of the acting watch commander, Corporal Hull, to the scene, the accused asked Constable Erbes why he had knocked on the camper door at 8:06 p.m., and Constable Erbes refused to provide an answer. 9. After the acting watch commander, Corporal Hull, arrived on scene, Constable Erbes asserted that he had received a complaint about the accused. The accused asked Constable Erbes what the complaint was, and Constable Erbes refused to provide a proper answer, instead obtusely stating, "It's available to you." The accused repeatedly asked Constable Erbes what the complaint was, and the eventual response by Constable Erbes was, "You are parked here. You are unwelcome here." 10. At approximately 9:26 p.m., Constable Erbes instructed tow truck driver Dave Jarman to hook up the truck, which had the camper unit mounted on it with the accused inside. The accused instructed the tow truck driver through the camper window not to hook up the truck, as he was being harassed by Constable Erbes and was waiting for the watch commander. 11. At all material times, Constable Erbes knew the accused operated a YouTube channel, operating as a journalist, posting videos reporting on news in Kelowna and elsewhere, including the Freedom Rally held in Kelowna during the day on January 29, 2022. 12. Watch Commander Corporal Hull arrived on scene at 10:20 p.m. At approximately 10:53 p.m., and with the intervention and mediation of Corporal Hull, Constable Erbes issued the accused with the ticket number 5678, dated January 29, 2022 at 2100 hours, alleging the following offenses. Count 1, refused to provide driver's license, which is an MVA 71B. Count 2, failed to display front plate, which is a Motor Vehicle Act Regulation 3011A. And count 3, no red flag, Motor Vehicle Act Regulation 4.202D. 13. On the copy of the violation ticket provided to the accused by Constable Erbes, count 1 was crossed out. 14. The accused disputed what was believed to be only 2 active offenses alleged in ticket number 5678. On May 2nd, 2022, the accused learned that Constable Erbes had not crossed out count 1 on the copy of violation ticket 5678 he had submitted to the court, resulting in a default conviction against the accused, which required the accused to take additional action, including court filings, to have the default conviction vacated. 16. On December 14th, 2022, the ticket number 5678 came before the court for trial. However, due to time constraints, the trial was adjourned to a later date. 17. During the attendance at court on December 14, 2022, but before the court convened, Constable Erbes approached the accused and asked how he was pleading to the alleged offenses, and the accused replied, "Not guilty." Constable Erbes stated, "I thought you would say that. I'm serving you additional tickets. You have been served." And Constable Erbes proceeded to serve the accused with ticket number 9795, alleging the following additional offenses on January 29, 2022. Count 1, failed to state name and address, Motor Vehicle Act 73-2. Count 2, illegible plate, Motor Vehicle Act Regulation 303. 18. On December 14, 2022, the accused disputed ticket number 9795, but as of the date of this filing, no trial date has been set, and the Violation Ticket Center clerk has advised that Constable Erbes has not provided ticket number 9795 to the Violation Ticket Center, so it can be processed and adjudicated upon. 19. On March 31st, 2023, ticket number 5678 came before the court for trial. The commencement of the trial that day was delayed, with the prosecuting officer, Constable Smith, advising that Constable Erbes was at the registry. When Constable Erbes, the Crown witness, returned to the area of courtroom 350 where the trial was to be conducted, he served the accused with a handwritten civil claim filed in the Provincial Court of British Columbia that day, naming the accused as defendant, alleging that the accused defendant had committed the tort of harassment and slander and libel against Conrad Erbes, the plaintiff. 20. Constable Erbes filed the civil claim in provincial court when he knew, or ought to have known, that the Provincial Court of British Columbia has no jurisdiction to hear allegations of slander and libel. 21. The filing and improper filing and service of this civil claim on the accused before the commencement of the trial was done to intimidate the accused. The trial on ticket number 5678 commenced on March 31st, 2023, but was adjourned to a continuation date which has not been set due to lack of time to complete the trial. During his evidence in chief, Constable Erbes falsely alleged that the accused had been causing a disturbance throughout the day in relation to the Freedom Mandate protests on January 29, 2022. 23. Despite issuing 2 different tickets alleging non-criminal allegations and filing a civil claim in a court without jurisdiction to hear the allegations, and alleging in evidence that the accused had caused the disturbance, no charge of criminal conduct has been formally alleged by Constable Erbes through the filing of a criminal or other information. 24. The allegation by Constable Erbes given during his testimony in the trial on March 29, 2023, that the accused had caused the disturbance during the day of January 29, 2022, which was adduced through leading questions by the prosecuting officer, another RCMP member, was not relevant to the offenses alleged before the court and was intended to improperly influence the court by prejudicially impugning the accused's character. 25. The accused had repeatedly asked for disclosure of full particulars of the alleged offenses and the allegations against the accused. However, the police who are conducting the prosecution have refused to comply with the accused request for full particulars. The actions of the police, and in particular the actions of Constable Erbes as described above, constitute an improper and unlawful pattern of harassing conduct intended to punish the accused for exercising his rights guaranteed under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and further to intimidate the accused for exercising rights guaranteed under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, including attending at and reporting on future gatherings of persons who are protesting against government actions and associating with like-minded persons, and accordingly those actions constitute a breach of the following fundamental charter rights of the accused. A. The right of freedom of peaceful assembly under 2C of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. B. The right of freedom of thought, belief, and opinion and expression, including the freedom of press and other media of communication under 2B of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And C. the right of freedom of association under Section 2D of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. 27. Further, the actions of the police, including the actions of Constable Erbes, as described above, constitute a breach of the accused's rights under Section 7 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, including the accused's right to make full answer in defense and to be free from acts of intimidation, and constitute an abuse of the court's process. And that is the material facts that I have sworn to. And then the final bit is relief sought. And so paragraph 28, the accused is also seeking an order transferring the proceedings under tickets 5678 and 9795 to a trial to be held before a provincial court judge who has the jurisdiction to hear and rule upon the charter issues raised by the accused. And final paragraph 29, the accused seeks the following relief under Section 24.1 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms: A stay of proceedings, and B, such other relief as this honorable court deems fair and just. And then it's signed, dated. So there you have it, guys. That is my charter application. A lot of words to speak out loud. It's a lot easier just to read it in your head. But hope you guys learned a lot with me on this good waste of an adventure. But I am documenting it for you. In terms of the CRCC complaint with Corporal Ryan Failure, I hope he does a proper investigation and looks at neglect of duty, improper attitude, and oppressive conduct. And if I am not happy with the result of his findings, then I will ask the CRCC to do a second independent investigation. Hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully Corporal Failure will do a proper job without any bias towards the RCMP or towards me, etc. So anyways, guys, this is Marcel Irnie. Again, if you're a civil lawyer in British Columbia, please reach out and have a candid chat with me. I'll even throw my email in the description. Anyways, guys, thanks for following along. Cheers.